Hey everyone, this is Luminous coming guys with a pro digital commentary. Today I'm casting iG.Y versus iG.Z, and iG.Z is on Sentinel, iG.Y is on Scourge. A couple of things before I get into this commentary. The reason I haven't been commentating a lot of pro games lately is because if you look on Ghostly Gamers, there's not many good replays lately, and I think that's mostly because a lot of the Dota 1 tournaments kind of done. Of course, we have a couple of big lands: Aces Winter, SMM, WDC. So a couple of big lands left, but aside from those, I think mostly the online tournaments are done. So that's why there's not many good replays to cast. This replay specifically came from the How Fun Golden League, and as you know, I do live cast for HFGL. Now this replay, I didn't live cast it. It was just sent to me, and I guess they played it in a different time than it was the broadcast time. So I don't know how this game is gonna be. A lot of times, if I download replay from Ghost Gamer, at least I could kind of judge by, let's say, the user feedback in terms of the points, the rating system. I don't know. This replay just came from my email inbox, so I have no idea whether this replay is gonna be good or not. Let's put ourselves back in perspective, right? This is match number 3 of the top 4, I believe. iG.Y versus iG.Z. So we're getting really high up in the tournament. That should be indication that these two teams are very evenly matched. Even so, or more so over, this is match number 3 of a best of 3 series. So both teams have claimed 1 game from each other. So that alone should be an indication that these teams are quite evenly matched. So hopefully we'll get a good game here. iG.Z on Sentinel, iG.Y on Scourge. I'm gonna miscall these guys so many times, but it should be okay here. Let's look at the lineup, and then we'll talk about synergy. Obviously, this is an AP remake of a CM draft. So we have Faith on that Witch Doctor, Shansheng on the Windrunner, 430 on the Pugna, Awoke on the Shaker, and then Zoe on that Spectre. Mew on Scourge. Let's see what they got here. We have a Syllabare being played by YYF, Tai Hunter being played by 830, Enchantress being played by CH, Pux being played by Chuan, and then we have Shurgan on that Clockwork. So let's look at one lineup, and then we'll talk about why that lineup might be picked, why that lineup might be better than the other one. In terms of this lineup, we're most likely going to see some sort of a Windrunner and Shaker on the top lane, I want to say, and then Pugna on the mid, and then Spectre and Witch Doctor on the bottom lane. Now, tri-lane nowadays have been kind of dying away. Even like 3 months ago, I would say, oh, definitely we're gonna see Witch Doctor, Spectre, and Earthshaker. And this game, we might see that. Like, that's not out of the possibility. Just lately, we haven't seen too much of that. If you're wondering why Witch Doctor is being picked, I still am a midst of trying to find out myself why the Chinese love to pick the Witch Doctor. I have a couple of reasons for it. Reason number 1 is that Witch Doctors, or in general, a lot of supports nowadays get a lot more level than they did have before. And most supports, supports are usually deemed as level independent, but a lot of supports gets really strong if you give them enough level. And Witch Doctor is one of those supports because he scales pretty well into the mid-late game with his Maledict. The Voodoo Restoration kind of goes away, but for a Spectre, that's not bad considering that Spectre already blocks a lot of damage. And if you keep healing him up, he's just going to be even a tankier beast to take down. Cask gets really good, especially if you combine it with a lot of AoE clearingness, where you clear all the creeps, so the cast bounce nothing but on heroes. That's really good as well. Cast has a really long range, and it's not a bad chasing spell. So Witch Doctor, if you give him enough levels, he can be good. And I think that's why maybe he's getting a little bit more picked, but I still don't know. Witch Doctor as a hero is also good if you want to play defensively for the first 10-15 minutes, because he's a very good counter ganker with that cast flying around. It just, you have 2 or 3 hero diving under your tower without creep support, and that cast could just mess you up really badly. In terms of this lineup, they're definitely going for the late game with the Spectre. And they have pretty good counter pushing power. They have the Power Shot, Fissure, and Pugna. Team fight wise, they're not too bad themselves. If they could get a Shackle Shot or a Fissure on 2 or 3 hero, the cast's going to be flying in, the Spectre Hunks come in. So generally a very versatile lineup in terms of both offensiveness and also defensiveness. So there's not too much to say about this lineup. It's just kind of like a cookie cutter standard lineup. I'm sure they can do some crazy shenanigans, but I think being that this is iG.Z playing it, they're going to stick to the book and play it standard. For Scourge here, we have Tai Hunter, Syllabare. We're definitely going to see some type of jungling, maybe even double jungle from the CH. and the 830 TIE Hunter with the Enchantress double jungle. That will give them 3 solo lane. I think Clock or Puck is going to be going on the bot lane here, and then we're going to have Lone Druid on the top lane. And of course, one of these it's going to be solo mid. Judging from the item here that Puck just picked up, I think he might be going to solo mid. Considering that if you're going to go solo bot, I think it's more advisable to pick up a little bit more restorative. But I mean, this build, if he's going to go solo bot, it works just fine. So in terms of this lineup here, they're going for a little bit more team fight oriented. But I think the goal of this lineup is to keep Syllabear from farming. The big goal here is to play 20 minutes 4v5. If you could do that, you're fine. Because Syllabear, once he picks up the Radiance, and I think he will pick up the Radiance quicker than the Spectre, and then you just try to finish the game right then and there. This lineup does not go as late as the Spectre lineup, and rightfully so. But Syllabear gives you a lot more lane control. He could actually get a couple more kills. He could actually do a little bit more tower pushing even before he picks up his Relic. So he's just a stronger hero overall in the early stage of the game. But once it gets to late enough, then there's no argument. If, ands, and buts, about Spectre versus Syllabear. So this lineup needs to be finishing quick, and that's their goal. So let's see how they're going to be playing it. I think that's enough early game introduction. So let's unpause the replay, and let's see what we got here. Smoke and Sleep being purchased on 830, which is quite standard. They're going to be coming out of jungle with a smoke gank. Interestingly, no Ring of Protection being picked up yet. So, or not even a Ring of Poseidon being picked up. He spent a lot of gold on the Pair Sentry Ward, which is an indication that they are fearing that there's some type of warding going on in their jungle, which might be coming their way. Let me see, do they have any extra pairs of wards here? Shaker's got 2, and Windrunner got nothing. So, okay, so that's just standard warding, lane warding, or rune warding, excuse me. But they might block off, let's say, this camp, which is, we'll see. Clockwork Rocket is going to scout 4 people coming up on top, and that's going to give them a lot of time to prepare if they want to engage or if they want to go ward. And it looks like they are just going to go ward right now. Enchantress and TIE Hunter, I really love this ganking combo out of the jungle, and I really like these two in general as a double jungle, because when you're double jungling, and if you haven't watched a lot of my Chinese replay lately, double jungle is really popular lately in China, and predominantly because it gives your supports a lot of farm and a lot of levels. Well, not so much a lot of farm, but generally a lot of level. And like I said earlier about the Witch Doctor, level in general for supports is just so important. How often, if we watch, maybe a game that's, let's say 4 or 5 months ago, how often do we see like 15 minutes in we have a level 4 TIE Hunter roaming around because he's just roaming, he's not near the creeps, he dies a lot because he ganks, and yeah, you give your other lanes a lot of I guess lane dominance, but overall once you hit 20 minutes you want to start team fighting and you don't have that ravage, hey, that's not too good. When you're double jungling right now here though, it will give you that level 6 fairly quickly. Of course, it will also give you level 6 on the Enchantress very quickly. And those are level 6s that are quite important in supports to pick up. So double jungle will give you that possibility if you want to stay in the jungle and get those levels. Or they could come out and gank. So it gives them a lot of versatility in terms of what they want to do as well. So that's always nice. Looks like we're going to see some nice counter warding here. Oh, we'll see. Once this camp gets blocked now, he already knows that it's gonna but it's gonna be blocked anyways because the clock is gonna tick 30 and these guys are not out of the box, so the creep is not gonna spawn, but ain't no big deal. Looks like Shaker and the Windrunner is going to be on top lane as expected. And now we're going to have Witch Doctor and the Spectre on the bot lane. The Witch Doctor should do a fine job in terms of handling against the Clockwork. Clockwork can't do too much of anything. And this Witch Doctor, ooh, he's baller right now, doing quite a bit of harass with this haste rate. He can just outrun the Clock and just kite him all day with his long range attack. Here we go. We're going to have a gank coming up. They're going to try to go for the Shaker. Shaker kind of in a good position, a good fissure block. That's going to keep the TIE Hunter out, and that should be the end of that ganking exchange. Windrunner doing a little bit of harass. Good job there. But that's going to give Syllabear the free farm, which is kind of what they want. So both teams trading free farm here. But I think in terms of this trade here, I think it's going to favor the Scourge a little bit more, considering that they're double jungling. It's okay. Oh, it looks like they're going to get some gank going on this Windrunner. There's a Gush, but already Windrunner already popped, so that should be the end of it. The reason I believe it favors Scourge a little bit more is because they have two junglers in the jungle, and that's going to give them that EXP, whereas the EXP on the Sentinel lane it's a lot more divided in the laning phase. So overall, I think the Scourge will outlevel the Sentinel and by a little bit, just to support. It's not that big of a deal, but it's worth mentioning. On the mid lane here, we have Pugna, who is at 5-1 right now, and 5-4 is that Puck. And Puck, again, expected is going to be going to the mid lane here. It's going to be a very interesting how these two is going to be playing it. I think both of them is going to rush a magic bottle, just go for the rune control. And both these heroes are really good in terms of grabbing the rune. Not only because they have an AoE to push the lane, they also have a lot of well, they need a lot of mana to use, so you can see this Puck already running out very low on that restorative. So I think he is going to be picking up the bottle very quickly, and let's see how yes, looks like we have a bottle coming in as well. Unfortunately, there's no crow on him though, because the supports haven't farmed that 200 gold yet. Meanwhile, the double jungle of the Enchantress Tide, they did. So he's going to get his bottle just a split second sooner, no big deal. But that might be important in terms of grabbing the next rune. Yet the regen rune is at the top. You can see that Puck is already flying there. And hey, that's where the crow comes in, being a little bit more effective in terms of delivering that bottle quicker and then ensuring that 2-minute rune. Alright, Pugna is still going to be just, you know, harassing the mid lane here. Both these guys going to go for Breach of Speed right after as well. So very similar item builds, very similar way to play the mid lane here. But once Puck is level 6, he will be able to do a lot more in terms of grabbing a TP scroll and then going for a gank. And that is the time for Pugna to try to maybe push down the middle tower. Because Pugna not too good of a ganker himself, at least not compared to a Puck. Meanwhile, on the clock going to the mid lane, I think, yeah, he's like, oh, alright, I'm not going to get anything done on the bot lane here, so might as well try to get a gank on the mid lane. And I think, yeah, we have the entire Sentinel Scourge squad smoked up here, and they're going in for that Pugna. Pugna dodging south, but here comes a Clockwork. There's a battery assault. There's a nuke on him as well. 4 guys ganking this Pugna. Pugna definitely going to go down. There's a clap on him as well. First blood being picked up by Chuan. Very ganking coordination here. And that clock gank, like, it might seem like overdone, but that Pugna might have lived if the Clockwork wasn't there to cut him off with a very nice battery assault. So very well done there. It was a 4-man gank, but really the Clock wasn't going to do too much anyways at the bot lane. So good job by him. Meanwhile, on the top lane here, let's look at 3-2, 4-2 on that Windrunner. Meanwhile, Silverbear's that 13-15. My goodness, holy Batman amount of denies, and that's important. Because again, levels is everything. I think I'm putting a lot of focus on levels in this game, and I'm going to continue putting a lot of focus on this game, because if you look at every one of these heroes are very level dependent. Shaker, if you watch one of my later Pubbing with Lumi series, I played Earthshaker, and in that I talked about how Shaker's always, he's quite level dependent. Again, a lot of times you're like, oh yeah, Shaker, all you need is level 1 fissure and you're good. And that's true to a certain extent, especially for the laning phase. But if you want to team fight very effectively, you probably want level 11, where you get, you know, max aftershock, max fissure, a level of enchant totem, 2 levels of ult. So levels is everything, and if you get 15 denies in the lane against a Windrunner Shaker, you're doing a fairly good job in terms of keeping level down, and that's going to prevent them team fight more effectively. And later on, it's going to make them easier to kill, as we see a huge dive attempt on the bot lane here, as we see a Fissure Cask, Spectral Dagger, and they're diving with Voodoo Restoration, so that's a fairly easy kill. Spectre having an insane farm as well, 31-10, so he's actually leading the farm in the game, I presume. I don't think Silverbear's got 31 by now. He's got 16, so he's got half the creep kill as the Spectre free farming. Women, even though being out denied at this point, still having a little bit more lane harassment, and that Shaker really in position to scare away the Silverbear. So the Spectre, he's already got his phase boot finish. I like the fact that he's gone for phase boots instead of the Ring of Health first. A lot of players are like, oh well, you know what, I got my 100 gold, let's just pick up a Ring of Health, and that's going to ensure my laning dominance. Well, there's no one in your lane in the first place, so why not just pick up this phase boot? It's going to help you to get your those last hits a lot easier now, considering that you got plus 24 damage, and more importantly, it's going to give you the kills if the opportunity ever arises. I think that kill on the Clockwork was mostly due to the phase boot being able to catch up, and Clock being slowed down by mass amount of stuns, mass amount of slow from the Spectral Dagger. So I like what Zoe's doing here. He realized that he doesn't need Ring of Health, so he's going to pick up the phase boot first. Meanwhile, we have a huge smoke gang coming on the top lane here. Windrun is going to be in trouble. There's going to be Enchant. There's going to be Engush. He's going to try to Windrun, but Silverbear already diving. There's a Shockwave on him as well. Who's going to pick up the last hit? Gush number 2 should be coming off cooldown. They don't have the mana. No, they're going to just... No. Unfortunately, here comes a Spectral Haunt. Keep in mind, he has a phase boot. Fissure comes in as well. Who is going to be focusing? He should focus on the Silverbear. Silverbear a lot easier to bring down. No, Tidehunter is going to sacrifice his life and also kills a Windrunner. I gotta say, that was a huge win for the Scourge lineup. They actually forced the Spectre to haunt in. Spectre did not get any kill. I think he got a kill, excuse me, he got the experience through the kill. but he didn't get the hero kill itself, so that limited his goal for quite a bit, and he has to spend a long time to walk to that bot lane, and Clock is now getting a little bit free farm considering that gank drew away both the Spectre and also the Witch Doctor. Also, the TIE Hunter got the kill before he died, so I mean, hey, TIE Hunter getting a kill, getting himself EXP, that's good enough. That's good enough. So that gank definitely helped out a lot in that regard. Helped out the Scourge a lot. Silver now up to 26 creep kills, 20 denies, so he's doing a really good job. I think he does have his face boot already as well, so his damage is through the roof, at least for now in this stage of the game. And he's just basically lasting like an absolute champ, microing his spear. And usually this is why this is why Silver is one of the stronger laners, because you could just send the bear to them, not right click them, just send the bear to them. You can see that the bear is not drawing too much creep but you send the bear to the Windrunner, and if he decides to stay in the lane, then you just attack him. And you can see Windrunner is being forced to pop just to go in the lane to get a couple of CS. 9 and 4 is Windrunner CS. Generally, Windrunner has a fairly easy time in laning, but Silver just kind of outclass her in a 1v1 situation, because it's not 1v1. It's 2v1. Meanwhile, on the top lane, or in the top jungle here, we do have another smoke at the sea. Yes, that's the third smoke being purchased here. I think they should go for another attempt on that Windrunner, but after that last gank attempt, they realize, hey, she is a little bit harder gank. You gotta find the right creep. You gotta find at least a creep that stuns, because you could, drop all your slows on her, and she could still Windrun and increase her mobility by quite a bit. It's not gonna put you at 522 movement speed, which a lot of newer players think that's how the skill works. It's gonna increase your movement speed by 100%. But if you're slowed to oblivion, 100% of a lot of slow, it's still not that much. So they can still catch up. It's just that Windrunner will survive long enough until TP support comes in, like from the Witch Doctor, come from the Spectre. In the last gank, so the Scourge, if they're ganking this Windrunner, they gotta be a little bit careful. I think it's a little bit better if they pick up, let's say, a Centaur or a Troll Warlord, where they keep the dude in place, keep the Windrunner in place to make the gang a lot easier. This game's been fairly tame. Let's check out how the mid lane's doing here. We have Pugna on 36 and 4, and 42 and 11 is on that Puck. Both these guys, String Treads and Bottle, so very, very similar lineup, similar item, which is kind of what you expect. Both these guys nuke very hard, so you want a little bit more HP to survive that nuke. And of course, Blink Dagger is going to be the item choice on that Puck, and I think Mecha is going to be the item choice on that Oblivion, which on both sides is going to be very, very standard lineup. Let me check out how everyone's doing on gold. I'm a little bit afraid of engagement happening. We do have the Puck on 1,000 gold, so halfway to that Blink Dagger. Meanwhile, we have Pugna just on 10 gold after picking up that headdress, so fairly good job in terms of both people farming. I do say the Puck is a little bit leading, because considering that the Oblivion did die once, but not too much of a big deal here. We have a 700 gold Spectre with 54 creep kills before 10 minutes. That's definitely a very good amount of farm on that Spectre. I wonder if it's actually going to go for the straight Vanguard or go for the Relic Rush. A lot of times, after you pick up a Ring of Health on Spectre, you could have a feel. It's like, well, do I need a lot more survivability? Do I need a lot more regen? Do I need a lot more HP? If the answer to that question is yes, they're like, yeah, you know what, let's finish the Vanguard. If the answer is no, then you could finish, you could rush the straight Relic, as we see Puck getting a free kill against the Witch Doctor using his Stream Coil for that. No big deal, because Stream Coil in the early stage of the game is fairly low cooldown, and considering that the Scourge don't really want a team fight in this stage of the game anyways without their Silver Radiance, they don't really care about using their AoE ults just for a single kill. No big deal there. So yeah, let's see if the Spectre is going to finish the Radiance, finish the Vanguard altogether. I still say it's probably better to finish it because, look at the HP pool of Spectre. He still does have a Dispersion to help him survive, but you can't really count on Dispersion. It's just having raw HP is always better. So, and I think he is going to finish the Vanguard, but you'll never know. On the top lane here, we have Silver still farming away, and this is one of the distinct advantage of Silver compared to any other Radiance farmer. Not only does he have strong lane control, he doesn't need any other item. Many other, let's say, Radiance Rusher, before they rush the Radiance, they have to rush survivability. So if you're thinking about the Weaver, he has to go for, let's say, Vanguard Hood, Vit Booster Pipe, Vit Booster Hood, something like that, some combination of survival spell. Spectre has to go for the Vanguard most of the time. But Silver says, no, I just go for Face Boot, and I go straight for Relic, and because the hero himself is just tanky. And You know, that's why he is picked a lot. He's also a very strong pusher, very early game hero. And here we go. Looks like Sentinel is choosing to push the mid lane. I think Puck's Dreamcoil is online right now, and that's exactly what I meant. You can see that he used it in the Witch Doctor on the bot lane here, but still had ample enough time to let it cool down to defend the mid lane if the push ever came. And that is going to be enough to stop the push. As we see the 4-man of Sentinel dispersing out. Dispersing out. Is that a word? Disperse out, yeah, disperse out to the other lane to go back. And Spectre really doing an excellent job, 66 and 22 deny, keeping the level of that Clock down. Again, Clock is one of those heroes that want a lot of level. Level 11 is his kind of deal as well. He wants his Vanguard more important. Looks like we have a smoke gang coming off somewhere. They're gonna find themselves a, oh, that's an Invis rune on the TIE Hunter, not a dust, not a smoke. But I think the Invis rune was picked up on the site of Sentinel, so they know that there's an invisible TIE Hunter coming in. I think Winner is also staying back as well, but little does she know, a Smoke Enchantress is coming in as well. But Silver not really in a position to assist. They're gonna keep diving. I think this might be a very dangerous position to keep diving in. I think Smoke is going to be running out fairly soon. They're waiting for the Silver to push under the tower, and they will kind of pincer her halfway there. And I think the gank attempt is coming in. There's going to be a net. There we go. And Impede is being dropped on. Look at the amount of DPS. There's a wind run being turned on. TIE Hunter, dude, drop out your nukes. Still no nuke being dropped. Finally, there's a gush being dropped right now. And I think Windrunner is going to get... No, she's going to be fine as we see a long fissure coming in. And that TIE Hunter is going to forfeit his life now. Windrunner trying to cut her way out. Here comes Puck. Puck's definitely going to get this kill. There's a silence. Where's the Illusion Orb to keep himself out? There's a TIE Hunter Ravage. Clock comes in on the corner of the screen. He's going to focus on the Shaker. Shaker might be in a huge position right now. He is going to go down to the right click of that Clock. Very well done by Clock here. It looks like Spectre did pick up a kill or two, and he's still going for more. Facebook definitely helping out there. Vanguard already finished, so she could tank quite a bit as well. Clock in huge trouble already, half HP. There's a there's a nuke on him as well, and Spectre is going to get the last kill. So Zoe picks up a double kill in that exchange. And end of that team fight, I gotta say that was a 2-for-3 exchange, I want to say. Shaker did definitely go down. Winrunner went down as well, and I think that was it. Meanwhile, Scourge lost a Clockwork, TIE Hunter, and also the Enchantress. I think Puck might also went down. So that was a lot of death in that exchange, and it definitely went to the favor of Sentinel because Spectre picked up double kill. He was in every single kill's EXP. He was in every single kill's extra go bonus, so he's getting a lot of go overall. Very intense team fight. I think Silver though actually got a couple of kills as well. He was a survivor team fight. Got a lot of assists. Got a lot of assist gold, and you can see he's up to 3,400, 500 gold. So he's gonna be taking up his relic in 15 minutes. That is that's not the way you want to handle this game, because he's gonna finish this Radiance a lot quicker than Spectre. I say he'll have his Radiance by 18 minutes if everything goes according to plan. And we're gonna see iG.Y pushing down the mid lane very, very hard, at least forcing some fights, and that's gonna put themselves in the lead. Meanwhile, Sentinel doing whatever they can right now, which is, hey, let's push up a tower when the Silver is not as strong. Between the Voodoo Restoration heal and also, ooh, looks like the a couple of creeps coming in here to do a little bit of distractioning work. Yeah, between the Voodoo Restoration heal and that Pugna Decrepit Blast, they're gonna pick down a free tower, and it looks like the Spectre did get the tower as well. TIE Ravage is off cooldown, is on cooldown right now, so he can't really engage, and I think that's ultimately the reason why the Sentinel decided to push, like, hey, TIE Hunter's down, let's make something happen, and they got themselves a free tower. Spectre did last hit that tower, so she's up to 2,000 gold at this point. Man, she's catching up and go so very quickly here, and there's no doubt in my mind that Zoe's gonna last hit every one of these creeps, and hey, that's what Zoe is known for. Let's see, let's watch a little bit. Hey, oh, never mind. Okay, making myself look bad. Alright, Zoe. Alright, Zoe. Sentinel Tower owning Zoe like no other, man. I'm like, man, Zoe's gonna last it like a champ, and he just missed like 3 lasts in a row. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Alright, Clock getting some farm on the bot lane here. Going to go for that Vanguard, which is a fairly standard item. You want to tank as much as you can. You can see that he's not even that tanky. A Spectre with just phase, we could just finish off in between this Desolate Dagger. Desolate and the Spectral Dagger. Does quite a bit of damage, and hey, it's pure damage as well, so you can't block through armor, you can't block through magic resistance and all that stuff. So mid lane here, Clock's still farming it up. Let me see how the Silver is doing. Where's the relic? Does he have the relic? Yeah, he does have the relic right now. And how much gold in the bank? Hey, 700 gold in the bank, so he is gonna finish his Radiance very, very quickly. And let's see how the Scourge is gonna use that Radiance. Are we gonna just farm more, or are we gonna push? As we all know, the Chinese teams are a lot more defensive than I actually like. A lot of times I think they could win the game right then and there, but they drag it out for 25 more minutes and just go for the for sure win. Which, I mean, a lot of times that works, and that's how they win the games. But sometimes, if you watch my cast between, I think, iG.Z versus Myth Trust, if you play against another team that like to take gamble, that might just come around and bite you, because they could gamble for some crazy items, for some crazy late game items, and because you play so defensive for the first, half the game, you don't take advantage of that gamble, and then you don't win off that gamble. I think this Chinese playstyle is really suitable to play against other Chinese teams, because both teams want to go defensive. So there's no reason to draw. There's no problem to draw out a late game. But again, you're up against a Spectre in here, so you gotta be very careful. There's a clock ticking your head. If that Spectre ever gets up to that Radiance, the game gets a lot harder. It's not unwinnable. You can still win against a Spectre, Radiance Spectre, but it gets a lot harder. I think the Radiance recipe should be flying in fairly quickly. Got enough go for it right now. Or was it 1350? I think it's 1250. Whatever, he's got the Radiance, but still not choosing to push right now. Maybe looking for a couple more key items. Let's do a quick check in terms of item correction here. Puck does have the Blink Dagger finish, still 700 gold, so most likely working to that Ultimate Orb next. Enchantress got the Arcane Boots. I like to see a Bracelet on her to get her a little bit tankier against that Spectre. Always good to have. Radiance recipe just picked up by the Syllabir. Urn on that TIE Hunter. Meanwhile, we have Mega already finished on that Pugna here. Voodoo Restoration and no Urn on the Witch Doctor. Nothing on the Windrunner. I'm very, very surprised there. And then TIE Hunter has Arcane Boots, and that's it. And Spectre has 3,400 gold, so he's about 2,000 gold, I want to say, behind that Syllabir. But Syllabir right now is not forcing the issue. I think considering that they're strong. No, there we go. This is exactly what you want to do. At least force something to happen when you finish that Radiance. And here we go. The entire Sentinel team is going to come in for defend. Having that Pugna Mecha is so important, considering that the Scourge team doesn't have their Mecha yet. I think this is another reason why they might want to have picked the Witch Doctor against the Syllabir, because that cast is ever so annoying. It's not going to give you any extra stun duration against the Spirit Bear, because a lot of stuns goes on him and he shrugs it off like a hero would. It's just that it's just bouncing around. It's just annoying, especially if Syllabir is on a chasing mode. It's just ever so annoying to make your chase stop. With that cast bouncing. It looks like they're going to get themselves a free tower, and when I say free tower, is like Sentinel would like to defend, but they can't, because hey, it's a Syllabir. They should continue to press on for more. They haven't lost anything. I think the Syllabir Bear was resummoned, but hey, they're still in a healthy amount of HP. His teammates are waiting on the wings to jump in. I don't know what they're doing right now. TIE Hunter's already backing off. Maybe they're defending the lanes now. So yeah, they are pushing, but it's not as aggressive I like to see. As we see a gank attempt on that Windrunner. Are they going to use a Dream Coil? No, they're just going to harass a little bit here, keeping the Windrunner always back. And it looks like this Windrunner want to make something happen. Windrunner got to be very careful, because we do see the clock support coming in. Windrunner a little bit out of position. She is going to go down for sure, and the Clockwork Hook is going to be there. Where's the Clockwork Hook? Where's the Clockwork Hook? Spectre comes in right now. And there's a cast from the Witch Doctor. Not going to do too much. Looks like Spectre is going to chase the Puck. Puck is going to be able to blink out just fine. I think there's the blink, and she's going to be fine. So Spectre comes in right now. Clock also in position. Clock actually going to get shackled, and it's going to go down to the Spectre. I think that Spectre picks up a killing spree. Here comes this the Radiant Spear, though. That might just turn the thing around, but that Bear's already at half HP, taking so much damage from the Spectre. There's a Shackle Shot on the Spear Bear and the Syllabir, and they're going to focus on the Syllabir. A lot of nuke being dropped. Here comes a TIE Ravage, only getting, well, it got the Spectre and a couple of supports, but that Syllabir Bear is going to go down. Can he get the resummon on him? A fairly long cooldown. There's a cast on that Spear Bear, on the Syllabir. Syllabir is going to go down. Blast and Life Drain. Yes, Zoe picks up a dominating streak as he's keep chasing on for that TIE Hunter. With oh, he's going to turn back right now. Very interesting. Going to go for the Enchantress, I presume. No, it's going to just turn back altogether and go for the tower. We always see Puck a little bit out of position themselves as well. So a very bad dive for that Windrunner. I gotta say, I thought the Clock was going to get the hook in. They get a free kill very quickly. But that's the strong counter ganking potential of that Shaker and that Witch Doctor coming in at the right time here. Spectre Hanan and that team fight just changed around. And that is going to give the Relic to the Spectre, I presume. Yeah, Relic and also 1,000 gold on that Spectre. And this game just looks really, really grim for iG.Y right now. This game is still early, don't get me wrong. Like it's a lot of stuff could still happen, but I think in terms of the matchup, the the Scourge team is indefinitely a lot stronger. Definitely a lot stronger. Right when the Solar Bear picks up the Radiance, before the Spectre picks up hers. And now the Spectre is going to be on a similar playing ground, and I don't know. I'm not too sure about this. Spectre versus Solar Bear matchup. The Solar Bear still can do alright because the Entangle is going to just annoy the Spectre from chasing your supports down. But, you know, it's we'll have to wait and see. It depends on how TIE Hunter plays, how Enchantress play. They still have very good things against Spectre. Enchantress Impedus does pure damage, so it goes through Dispersion, it goes through Vanguard, it goes through the high armor of Spectre. So there's a couple of things you can do against Spectre, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good here. As we see the Solar Bear farming up. I wonder what his next item choice here. A Vlad's is a very common transition for Solar Bear, and it looks like they're gonna go for the Roshan, which is a very interesting choice. Let me see how the ultimates are doing. Shaker doesn't have his, but TIE Hunter doesn't have his, and that's why I was saying that's an interesting choice, because TIE Hunter, I mean, without your Ravish, he's not really even a hero. It looks like the Sentinel is gonna just say we're coming, and they have to back off. So Shaker, Windrunner, and Witch Doctor in positions. Looks like Windrunner has went for Django, which is just a sign that, hey, I'm not farming well at all. Oh, looks like we have a Spectral Hunt coming in. Who are they going to focus? Clock is... Oh, he's just trying to use it to survive, but no. Great Chain Stuns coming in from the Scourge team. Going to get themselves a free kill thanks to that Clock hook shot. And that's going to give them free Aegis as well, I believe, if they want to go for it. Because I don't think without the Spectral Hunt of the Sentinel, they could disrupt this Roshan. Yeah, Scourge making the correct decision here, going straight for the Roche Pit. So that's what I mean. It's very difficult to tell. Spectre did get ganked off here, and that's how the game's gonna turn. I still believe Sentinel is gonna be in a better position, considered to have the better late game. And right now, the Scourge doesn't have a huge distinctive advantage. Here we go, the Clockwork and Witch Doctor coming in right now. They got to be very careful. Here comes Clock already at 75% HP, at half HP. He's going to go down before he does anything. Solar Bear comes here, trying to destroy the ward. He is going to destroy the ward. Can he pick off the Witch Doctor? Maybe Lucky Entangle. One more hit on the Entangle. Not going to get it right now. Pug is going to claim the one kill. Now the Pugna in huge trouble. He's going to try to kill the bear. Here comes a Shaker with the Echo Slam. They're going to focus on the Pugna instead. Pugna is going to run out. Where's the Magical Shackle Shot, though? No Shackle Shot. Fisher just harassing, just making so annoying. There's that Shackle Shot, but I think the Enchantress is going to pick the kill. No, nice knife train here, and they're going to get the kill, free kill there coming from CH right now. Women got to be very careful as well. It's going to focus on the Shaker. Shaker half HP. Where's the Lucky Entangle? No Lucky Entangle. Django being popped right now, and Solar Bear got to retreat as hey, there we go. That's going to be the Roshan Aegis defended from the Scourge team. Maybe they even go for Roshan Pit. No, they don't have enough DPS output. But I got to say, that was a pretty good fight. 40 Scourge overall. They forced the team fight without the Spectre because Spectre is dead. And they went for the Roshan Pits. And Sentinel's like, dude, we got to fight this. We cannot give them free Aegis. Meanwhile, everyone is still TPing back. They're going to go for a Roshan fight. Roshan Aegis once again. And considering that the TIE ult is online now this time, they have a better chance to fight. I think Spectral Hunt is also off cooldown, so they could go for the Aegis for a lot safer. But are they gonna do it though? That's the question. Looks like they're waiting for yet another TP. Everyone TP to the same tower. You might be thinking, well, why don't you just TP to this tower and just walk there quicker? And I think that's the reason, because they don't want the Scourge, I want the Sentinel to know that, hey, we have 4 guys sleeping here, and we're walking to Roshan Pit. That makes it so ever obvious. No, they're actually going to do a smoke gang. They're not doing a Roshan. Maybe they're trying to mind games, like, hey, we're going to do a Roshan, everyone's missing off the map, but just kidding, we're going to gank you. And dude, if they find the Spectre one more time, this game might just be a game, because here we go, the Spectre. Yes, they see the Spectre right now. There's a Dream Call on one. They are going to try to focus on TIE Ravage, going to be used as well. Nah, there's a TIE Ravage. They're going to get a kill on that Spectre. This is how they should be playing it right now. But this Clock, very, very low HP. Enchantress trying his best to heal up himself and also his teammates. Looks like we have the Celebrate claiming the they need to kill the ward, man. This ward is going to be so ever annoying. Now they're going to just run away from the ward. Here we go. The Celebrate half HP, but he's very, very tanky. There's a Lucky Entangle. This Shaker in position to get a couple more stuns. Silver in huge out of position right now. Here comes Enchantress to help out a little bit. The Bear's still doing a lot of Radiance damage. Shackle Shot. Here comes the Clockwork with the hook shot though. They're gonna get 1 kill, but they're gonna trade the Clockwork's life. I gotta say that's a worthy trade considering that you have Silver getting the XP, getting assist going. Here we go. A Lucky Entangle. They're gonna go in for the Pugna kill. Pugna just popping a lot of his restorative. It looks like the Enchantress gonna get a kill as well. Pug in position to blink in and out. Man, this is an intense game. As we see, 12 to 15. This game was 6 to 6 at one point, but we had kills flying in every moment. Man, every 2-3 minutes we just get a couple kills, a couple team fights, and that's how you wanna this is a very entertaining game to watch. I take back whatever I say about Chinese being passive. iG.Y is being aggressive right now, and I love to see that because that's how they need to win this game. Very aggressive ganks, again, getting ganked on the Spectre. A lot of times we're like, oh yeah, we got our Spectre ratings. This game is in the bag. And iG.Y says, no man, we're going to try, even though we have a disadvantaged position in terms of hero potentials, we're going to turn this around through smoke ganks. And they got 2 ganks off Spectre. And this Spectre's farm is all but stopped at this point. Her 158 creep kills looks really impressive, but considering that she spent a lot of time dead, spent an entire 2-minute dead, her farm is stopped. So she's got the Vanguard, Radiance, and the face boot, but only 1,000 gold. A lot of times she'd be like, oh yeah man, 5 minutes after that Radiance we'll have that what's that item, Diffusal Blade finish. But it looks like he's got no gold, so I wonder if he's gonna go for a Diffusal Blade right now. I actually would just go for a Vit Booster and go for a Heart, because I think survival is definitely an issue at this point in the game. Being able to do more damage is nice through the Spectral Dagger. I mean, do a Diffusal Blade and the Haunt, but I think survival is the key. And it looks like the Sentinel are going to do a smoking of them their own. I think they can, especially they have quite a bit of AoE stun to cast, to Fissure, the Shackle Shot. But I think the Scourge quite prepared for them as well, because they're really clumping as 4-5. They're going to do a smoke gank themselves, and who are they going to look for is the question. They're definitely looking for the Spectre. I think they realize that Spectre might be in their own jungle, but little does they know the entire Sentinel team also smoked up on the enemy jungle. So looks like we're going to have a tower trade of some sort. The tier 2 of the top Scourge tower is going to be traded for a tier 1 of the Sentinel, which is going to favor the trade in terms of Sentinel. But I don't think it's going to matter too much. They're running around like a choo-choo train. So they're not going to get a trade. Oh, it's going to trade a top tier tower for Roshan, which is, I got to say, this trade favors a Scourge a little bit more instead of trading a tower for a tower. And this trade is a lot better for the Scourge, considering that, hey, it's an Aegis. It's freaking OP. So now the hoax is up. I think both teams know what each other team is doing. They know the Sentinel knows the Scourge is in the Roche pit, and obviously the Scourge knows the Sentinel is claiming their tower on top. So let's see who's gonna pick up the Aegis. Syllabur 100% of the time. Yeah, it's gonna pick it up. Sometimes you might want to give it to the Clock, but that's a very rare instance. Sometimes if your Clock is doing a really good job, you can hook in, disable a couple, and still be able to survive and tank a lot. But that's really a rare case, as we see everyone TPing back. Tower's sustaining a little bit of damage, not too much of a big deal here. But with the Syllabur Aegis and a Hood finish on that Syllabur, they're going to have a fairly easy time in terms of surviving against the nuke. I guess the Syllabur would at least have a fairly easy time surviving against all these nukes coming in from the Sentinel and still chase like crazy. In terms of how that last team fight went, I want to just point out a couple more things, and maybe that's how we're going to expect the coming team fights to be being played on both sides. First, the Scourge picked off Spectre, and that was absolutely huge. But also the way that the Scourge fought that team fight, they really utilized their mobility. Like, Syllabur is actually a very quick moving hero with his rapid. Of course, the Puck is just a very mobility based hero. The Clockwork was going out of the team fight and then hooking back in with low amount of HP. And that's how they want to fight this team fight. Because if you look at the Sentinel lineup, they're really good if the enemy team's clumped up. The Blast's going to hit a lot of people. The Cast is going to be bouncing left and right. The Fissure's going to hit a lot of people if you're clumped up. But if you fight a team fight like the Scourge has fought it, which is really dispersed out, they come in, from multiple angles. They're not going to ever take a cast bouncing for long durations. The Fissure's not going to grab more than 2 heroes. That's how you fight the team fight, and I'm really glad that iG.Y is playing this, perfectly, in my opinion. In the last team fight, they just kind of danced in and out. They grab for kills when they can. They even suicided the Clocked in just for extra kill on the Syllabur. It's always good. It's always good if your carry could get a kill. Even though the trade itself might not be the most even, the Clock for a Shaker, that trade might not be the best trade of all, but hey, your Syllabur is grabbing the EXP, so that's always good. And at the end of that result, I think it was like a 2 for 5 or 1 for 5. It was a heavily victory for the Scourge team, and Scourge looks like they're going to press the issue on the bot lane here. They need to do more of this. Basically is push and then get towers. Now the thing is, when you're pushing against this lineup, you're inherently clumped up. So the Shaker, the Cask, the Nether Blast is going to be a lot more effective. So maybe that's why they're not being pushing as much, as we see Mecha being picked up on the Syllabur. And you might be thinking like, WTF, why do you pick up Mecha on the Syllabur? Well, there's not a Mecha on the Scourge lineup yet. It's not that bad overall on the Syllabur. He is melee, but regardless, the extra armor from the mecha is going to help. He doesn't have too much mana problem a lot of times, considering that he doesn't have any spells to cast with. Really, the rapid doesn't take too much mana. Really, it takes like 70 or something like that. So he will always have the mana to cast his mecha. So yep, they're gonna go for the second tower here. The Shaker have the Blink Dagger, not just yet, but they really gotta be worried about that Shackle Shot. If that Shackle Shot, let's say, gets a Puck and the Syllabary together, that might just be very dangerous. Looks like they're gonna claim another free tower. So let's do a quick tower check. Looks like the tower is already very even. We have both teams having 2 exterior towers left. Spectre getting his farm on, saving for a lot of gold here. I think it's going to be a buyback and a reaver. That's what he's going for. Or maybe he's just saving up for an entire Diffusal Blade. Although, again, I highly doubt it's going to be the Diffusal Blade because, hey, it doesn't offer the survivability that he needs right now. What Scourge should be doing right now is to get very, very tanky items on their supports, because you know that Spectre is going to do a lot of damage overall. If you could tank it as long as possible, and maybe as long as your Syllabary could pick off a couple of supports on the other end, then that might be kind of what you need. It's just that it's going to be very difficult to tank the Spectre, considering that he does pure damage, and it's going to be a Yasha, which you might be thinking, like, WTF, and I'm kind of like, ooh, not too sure about that. Yasha can be treated as a survival item, believe it or not, because it gives you plus 10% movement speed in between Phase Boot, Spectral Dagger. That's a lot of movement speed. So you could use it to run away. Of course, you could use it to chase as well. It does make your Haunt Illusion a little bit tougher because Syllabary gotta be very careful. He's fine because he's got the Aegis, so no big deal. But his bear's gotta be worried because this bear doesn't have Aegis. Oh, they have a Vlats on the bear as well. So this Syllabary is farming up like a champ right now. But a lot of his item doesn't lend to a lot of late game powers. So I'm thinking, just judging from the item set, they want to win this game really, really early, and they want to win it right now. It's just whether they can is the question here. As we see, the Syllabary doesn't even care. Gonna go down and mow down that tower. Tower at a quarter HP. Syllabary Bear taking so bunch of damage, so gotta turn back. Maybe he's gonna pop the mecha right now and go for push it down in the next wave. But Scourge, they have so many spells to defend this off. We have a Force Staff already finished. Looks like Pipe already finished on that Oblivion. Very utility based Pugna here. Shaker doesn't have the dagger just yet here. Point Booster being picked up on the Witch Doctor, so very rich Witch Doctor. They are gonna get the kill. There's a hook in, grabbing 3, man. This is a huge. There's a Force Staff coming in. Looks like Spectre has that Spectral Dagger out. Where's the Tide Ravage? Tide Ravage is gonna be late. There's a Tide Ravage, only getting 3 or 4, but they're not too good of a position. They're trying to focus on Pugna. Pugna is gonna go down, but not before Echo Slam comes in. They're gonna polish off the Tie Hunter. Yeah, Tie Hunter is gonna go down. Where's the Syllabary? Syllabary Bear is on top of this Shaker, trying to get 1 kill. Not gonna be able to chase him down, as we see the Witch Doctor defensive Death Ward. They're gonna get another kill on the Clockwork, and now the Syllabary in huge trouble. He does have the Aegis right now, half HP, but he's not gonna get too many kills though. And now he's surrounded by 3 supports. He's in huge trouble. A Spectral Dagger comes in here, and we have a Winning Rift against 3 or 4. Now the Bear comes in and try to get something done, but the Shackle Shot is gonna be casted just on the Bear. Definitely get the bear kill, but that, yeah, doesn't mean too much of anything. The Age is still alive, but more so importantly, the tower is still intact. They could deny it if they want to do so. But I gotta say, that was a very successful defense coming here for the Sentinel team. The Clock Hook Shot looked really good, and it did look really good until I realized, oh, they have a Force Staff. Oh, they could just Spectral Dagger out of it. So really just trap 1, and it traded 1 for 1. The Tie Hunter was stunned continuously. The cast was just ever so annoying, and it just made the Ravage came out really late. In fact, the Ravage was casted when all these Sentinel guys were on top of the hill. They were protected by a fog. They were protected by minus 25 evasion chance. So, like, it was a good Ravage. It grabbed 34, but it was definitely way too late. And again, that was thanks to the cask of that Witch Doctor. So it is going to be a Manta style. Yes, Manta style on that Spectre. And Manta style overall, it's okay. It gives you that chasing power, like I said. It gives you that survival power through the plus 10 stats. And I think maybe he wanted it for the Entangle base. I believe you can Entangle, you can Manta out of the Syllabary Entangle. So maybe that was one of the reasons why he's gotten it. And also, I think he realized that the Scourge team does not have really the AoE to bring down that his illusions. If you have like 3 or 4 Spectre illusions, haunting around, and they're not killed, they're gonna just do so much damage in the entire battle. So I think that would be, if he has realized that, and if that's why he has gotten the item, I would fully applaud that decision, because I think that he's right, because hey, the Scourge doesn't have the AoE. Enchantress could do something sneaky. You can take over one of the Spectre illusions with your enchant spell. I think that's definitely what we're gonna see this game. But even so, like, well, actually, if you do take over a mirror image from the Spectre, that would be really good because your team gets a free Spectre. Not so much for the Radiance because you already have the Radiance on the Spectre, on the Syllabir, but still, it's a nice thing to have. Dispersion being flying around, you know, it does right click pretty healthy amount of damage. So we'll have to wait and see. Spectre here, let me see how much gold still left in the bank. 1,000 gold left in the bank. So this is a very confident move here from the Spectre, finishing that mana style, not saving for buyback. Maybe after the last team fight, he realized, hey, I'm not going to die at all. I would have enough survival already. And if he thinks that, hey, more power to him, because he does have a lot of healing being backed up to him. He has a mecha, he has a pipe, he has a voodoo restoration. Looks like these guys are ready to smoke up. Smoke up? Where's the smoke? No smoke? Okay, just holding hands in front of tower, you know, that's fine. I really like what they're doing right now. They're like, okay, Spectre's farming, let's back him up. Because how can the Scourge come back in this game? What's the one thing they can do to come back this game? Catch the Spectre without a buyback and kill her and go for a push. But if you have the entire Sentinel lineup being backed up, protecting that Spectre, hey, that's all you really need. And that's what I mean. Like, both teams is going to be playing very defensive because Sentinel are doing pretty much the same thing. They're roaming S5, the Scourge, Sentinel and Scourge roaming S5. And because of that, there's not going to be many kills exchanged. And because of that, that's going to favor the Spectre team. It's just by nature because they have better late game. And this is going to go for more and more late game. Syllabir could claim all these towers, but these towers mean nothing if you don't claim the racks afterwards. And I think Sentinel knows that as well. Sentinel's like, you know what, you can claim my exterior tower, that's fine. As long as we defend our racks, that's all we care about here. Looks like we have a pipe finish under this Lone Druid. So Lone Druid going for very, very utility. Like, he's just really basing everything on his hero potential, which is the fact that you have basically two right clickers. You have, you know, rapid bonus, you have synergy bonus. He's not getting too many items aside from that Radiance to really make his damage output a lot stronger. Sure, the extra tanking power of the Syllabir is going to allow him to get more right clicks in, but even so, like, he's not getting any damage item. Not like a Bloodfly, or you guys know what I mean. He's just getting like pipe, hoods, vanguards, like not vanguard mechas, and that's great and all. It's just that it doesn't lend them extra damage. So that's very unfortunate here, as we see rockets being sent to scout, and the entire Sentinel team is coming in right now. And here we go, the Radiance. The Syllabir is going to pick up we have a Dream Coat just being dropped on one right now. Clock hookshot is going to miss, and that's not a barely good. It's not going to be a good position. I would say Shaker, huge Echo Slam, getting 3 of 4, and this team fight is absolutely ridiculous. Here comes a Ravage though. Can they turn it around with that Ravage? Looks like we have Sentinel getting the first initial 2 kills. We have a Fair Dragon buyback right now. Clock in huge trouble right now. Syllabir doing whatever he can to right click, which is not too much damage. Wow, Witch Doctor channeling a full duration of that ult right now. Puck comes in. He pick off anyone right now. Zoe picks up a double kill himself, and looks like the Sentinel just got themselves right back into this game right now. Buyback already used. The Puck dies once again, so a 5-for-0 exchange. Zoe picks up a triple kill, and ladies and gentlemen, the game is over. It's done. It's done. Yep, not when the Shaker picks up an Echo Slam, Blink Dagger. The team fights, I mean, even let's say they don't lose the Rex right now, which I heavily doubt, because Scourge will lose the Rex. All the team fights after this will just be so hard. What is the only way you kill the Spectre? You clump up, you focus her with everything, and you kill her. But Witch Doctor, Shaker with a Blink Dagger, Pugna, and the Windrunner are one of the best lineup to go against clumped up team fights. So I don't know, just judging from the hero potential, Shaco Shot and Chihiro right now, Syllabir taking a lot of damage. You see his HP pool is just dropping so much, man. He might make it out alive here, but he's gonna just go back to the fountain for another triple, except Witch Doctor being cogged up right now, but they don't do enough damage. As we see, Clock is gonna get picked off here. Enchantress doing whatever they can, but right now being chased as well. Spectre kicks up 1 kill there. Megrax fully breached right now, and they could actually turn for the top lane as well. And they're going to get that Rex. Manta Illusion doing quite a bit of damage. And how much gold does the Spectre have? 5,000 gold, so he can come back with Heart. And this game getting a lot more difficult for the Scourge. And I think it's getting to a point where it's unwinnable for the Scourge. So, a little bit sad. Couple of things for the Scourge that I think they could have done better, and keep in mind this is just an opinion of a commentator. By no means I'm as good as iG.Y. It's just that I felt like right when they picked up the Syllabir, they should have done a huge push down the mid. Maybe not go for a Rats, but at least push like the 3 towers. Maybe even go for like the base tower before turning back, because that's where a point where, you know, like Spectre just have a Vanguard Phase Boots. That's it. Like, you could, if she comes up at you, you right click her, no problem. You have way more damage than them. So I think they missed a huge opportunity there. But even afterwards, they play really well. They got a couple ganks off. They got a Spectre gank here twice in the jungle, but they didn't really get too much out of it. They got a gank, they won a team fight, but they could not go for high ground because they were too low. So just a lot of missed opportunity here and there. The TIE Ravage wasn't really that good overall because that cast was ever so annoying. The Enchantress wasn't able to put too much damage on the map either. So just, I think a lot of farm being done by iG.Y, and I don't really particularly like their item choice either. The Pipe the Pipe Mecha is good. It's just I don't think your Syllabir should be getting it. I think Syllabir could benefit from, let's say, a Yasha at least for the chasing power. Maybe go for SMY. Maybe go for Maelstrom. I want to say Maelstrom not too bad against Radiance, because you could prop the lightning, static lightning on yourself, and he's just a big target. He's getting focused by creeps. He's getting focused by, you know, a lot of heroes. So you could get a lot of static charges off as well, and that's not bad. So good items. I just don't think Syllabir should be the one getting it. I think if you want support items, ask your Enchantress to get it, ask your Puck to get it, ask your Clock to get it. Not the Syllabir. I think Enchantress also should have went for the. Looks like Pug is dead. It's gonna drop off a Dream Core. Here comes Syllabir. Can they make something happen here? Nope. Nope. Gonna get this. Yeah. He's gonna go for AC now, which is good. It's just a little bit too late in my opinion, as you see the Scourge going for the high ground, and I don't think the Scourge could do too much about it. We're 43 minutes into the game, 23-16. We have 10-2 Spectre here with Manta, and he has opted for the diffuser play. Here we go, Haunt being used, and looks like we have a huge backstab going on right now. TIE Hunter gets shackled to the tree. Can they kill him before he drops his Ravage? There's a Blade Mail being popped. There's a Ravage right now, and they need to kill something very quick. The damage output is just not enough though, because, hey, Pipe and Mecha doesn't give you the damage, as you see Syllabir being surrounded by Deering 4. This team fight is unquestionably being won by the Scourge lineup, by the Sentinel lineup here, as we see the Witch Doctor did get him going down here. The Spectre, the Bear still doing a lot of damage. Actually, the Bear might be putting the Spectre in a difficult position. He summoned the Bear once again here, still trying to go right-click him down, but unfortunately he is the only sole survivor. Puck is still alive as well. I think they are actually going to chase everyone away. Yes, they are. They're going to chase a Windrunner away. But even so, no. Here comes the Spectre. No, Spectre's just jumping back and forth with phase boots, and also his Manta style. He's just so quick right now, and they might actually get a kill on the Windrunner. No, Blink Dagger trying to bring this Windrunner down. Just a huge chase. They are definitely gonna get a Windrunner kill, but that's not gonna turn the game around. So a pretty good team fight for the Scourge overall. I think they utilized a couple of buyback. The Aegis was definitely utilized on the Scourge, so they could show that they could win the team fight. And how was that team fight won? Again, it was split up. They had a couple here. They had a couple here. It was a very split up team fight where the Echo Slam couldn't get everyone, where the Cast couldn't get everyone, where the Nether Blast couldn't get everyone. TIE Hunter finally got off a very good ultimate where the entire Scourge team, where the entire Sentinel team was quite clumped up. And that was very important. That was not like a team fight here where the Echo Slam just grabbed 4 people. The Fissure After was just hurting like crazy. So that's how the Scourge need to fight their team fights. But as the game progressed later and later, the more dispersed out team fights, it's going to be harder and harder to come by, because hey, you're going to be going for pushes, you're going to be going for Roshan fights, and that's where the clumped up team fight comes in. And that's why Witch Doctor and Shaker scales really well into late game. Their spells are really just intended for that purpose, fighting up clump up team fight. If you look at the Scourge, the only really spell they have for that is Clock, and I guess the Dream Core and Ravage are really designed for AoE team fight as well, but rather you clump up or not, you're going to take the Ravager anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So Clock can turn things around with a really good cog, but aside from what we've seen earlier, We have Force Staffs, we have, you know, Spectral Daggers. They could really easily get out of the cog if they want to, so it's no big deal here. Shaker, really, if the Sentinel is going to win the game right now, excuse me, if Scourge is going to win the game, they need to pick off the Shaker before he drops any spells. It's just going to be hard because Shaker generally stayed really far back and you're not going to get jumped on. So this Clockwork have to play like a Superman. But here we go. Scourge, are they going to go for a mid push? They really need to do something because they're definitely not going to farm their way back in the game. It's just, I don't see it happening. But looks like Enchantress is trying to farm her way back in the game. He says she's only got 800 HP. I don't think she's tank enough. Definitely need to go. If your Enchantress is not farming for Mecha Pipe, why isn't she farming for Ag Stick? Did she get a lot of wards? She did have 14 wards, and she's definitely the ward buyer. Tie Hunter just got for Blame. It looks like we have a Haunt coming in right now. They're gonna go for Jar. Okay, a defensive Haunt because I think they were going for the Windrunner. So, oh, the Haunt is down. Wanna make something happen, guys? Smoke of the seat. All right, here comes the last fight. If the Scourge loses this fight one more time, they are done. They're literally done. I think Radiance should be turned off right now in case you're running by some creeps, running by some enemy heroes. Be very careful. They're looking for the Spectre and maybe a Shaker, but the Sentinel smarts up. They're like, hey, come at me, bro. We're fine. We got the late game. You gotta make the aggressive move, and we'll just stay in our base waiting for you. And that's the best way to respond to this. When you have the advantage here, there's no really reason to go out and go for something to happen. So if you look at the Sentinel view, right, they don't see anything. It's like no reason to go out. We have the big creeps pushing mid. You have to go back and defend. And yeah, that was the end of that smoke gang. So very nicely dealt with by the Scourge here. By the Sentinel, excuse me. And looks like Pugna has the Shivas being finished. Witch Doctor's Medallion and a point booster. Windrunner has a Hex finish. Spectre has a Diffusal Blade and a whole bunch gold in her bank. 7,000 gold in her bank. Wow. Shaker's got a Force Staff and a Blink Dagger, keeping herself. Yeah, even if you get a hook on him, he's gonna just Force Staff himself out. So I think the Sentinel team, by their item choices, by the fact that they're playing this perfect to the book, they got the game locked down on lockdown, and they realize that as well. So now they're gonna go push for the win. Meanwhile, Scourge still slowly farming it up. Do they have any item progression? Maybe they're trying to finish the AC on the Syllabear, but Syllabear at this point have to save for buyback as well. I think he just finished the AC as he's only got 1,000 gold. Where's the bear? Oh no, he didn't have. Do you have the recipe somewhere? Nope, doesn't even have the recipe. All right, so it's gonna be nasty as we see this next team fight engagement. Okay, let's keep in mind what both team needs to do. Scourge need to fight this team like split up. They gotta engage, they gotta backstab, go in for multiple different angles, focus on the Spectre or focus on the Shaker. Don't get out AoE'd. That's what the Scourge need to do. What Sentinel needs to do is A move in, because hey, they could A move in and just win this game, really, in my opinion. No, they're gonna go for a Roshan here. Roshan has spawned. This is the third incarnation of Roshan, I wouldn't say. Yeah, there's a cheese on the Rosh. And this Rosh fight is going to be absolutely crucial here. Now keep in mind the Scourge, not too bad for a Roshan engagement. They could hook in there and grab 2 or 3. But unfortunately right now, Spectre could solo this Rosh at this point. Damn, got the butterfly finish. And what is he even going to drop? Vanguard? I don't think he's even going to pick it up. He's going to give it to his Pugna, I presume. Yeah, Pugna's going to pick it up, and that's actually very important. Pugna being able to survive for so long. Here comes the entire Scourge team. Can they make something happen? They need to get a really good clock hook in. Witch Doctor actually leading the charge. Nice war being put by Samsung. Here comes the Haunt right now. There's a Hex on Wild. There's a good Ravage, defensive Ravage. Cog's going to be casted. Where's the Cog? No Cog just yet. Where's the Syllabear right now? Syllabear, there he goes, Syllabear in position, but he cannot attack anything because he's just slowed. There's a Purge on him as well, and he's just going to go down. Zoe picks up a double kill, and this team fight was just easily won by the Sentinel lineup. Yep, the game's over. I don't think they even need to go for the Roshan. They could just go for the throw at this point. They could go for the bot racks. They could go for the top racks. Anything they want, they could get. And this Spectre, this is why you don't want to go late game with Spectre. They're like, F that, the game's over. Let's just quit it out. GG being called. So I think the past 20 minutes was late game analysis because I mean, the game was already won. It's very clear. There's really no way that Scourge could have came back. And I also have already said why I believe Scourge made a mistake. They had a momentarily advantage. I'm not saying they could have won from that momentarily advantage, because again they're pushing against Shaker, pushing against Windrunner and Witch Doctor and Pugna. It's going to be hard to push against that. But they didn't even try. In my opinion, they didn't even try. So that's how they lost the game. That's the way I see it. So, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed this game, and until next time, this is Luminous signing off to you guys.